Hey everyone, back again with a small project. I'm building some stuff for a customer of mine that builds custom furniture. He's building these shelves. I'll show you guys in a quick second what the shelves are going to look like for one of his customers. And he wants me to build these metal rectangles that are, if I remember the measurements off the top of my head, they're 18 by 20 inch outside dimensions. And I'm going to be using some 1 inch by 2 inch 16 gauge rectangle tubing. This was just a mock-up piece that I made to show him what kind of finish we would be looking at. You see there's no welded bead in the inside. And the weld was TIG welded across here and across this seam here and then here, and then ground as smooth as possible. So I'm going to be making those rectangles. There's going to be 3 sets, so in total there will be 6 of them. There's going to be some holes drilled into them so that he can mount them, because there's going to be some wood slats that go over the tops or between them or whatever. I'll show you guys in a second. So boring but quick video. So let's get to it. I'm going to be using my Everlast PowerTIG 210 EXT on this. And yeah, let's get to work. Talk to you guys in a second. Okay, so here's what we got going on. I've got my pieces all cut to a rough length. I've got 3 of them cut now at the 45-degree angle. This set right here is the 18 inchers. Basically, this is what I'm doing here. This right here is a piece of wood that will go on the top of this. You saw in the drawing, so then there will be another square up top here. Okay, so we've got 18 inches deep and 20 inches tall. There's going to be the holes that are drilled in here. We won't talk about that just yet. But there's going to be, let's just assume that this is the very bottom that you saw in the drawing. There will only be holes drilled in the top one of on this one. And then the set that's on top will have holes drilled top and bottom. So anyway, I'm cutting. I have all these ones cut to 21 inches. I have all these ones cut to 19 inches. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to struggle with putting a big 24-foot length of that tubing here in my saw. So now here's what I got going on. I've got my saw set at a 45, and by the way, this is my Portacable chop saw. It's been working good for me for over a year. Only issue I have is this guard is real floppy. Is what it is. Pretty cheap saw. I think I paid like 120 bucks for it. I'll put the link for that down in the description so you guys can check that out on Amazon. Anyway, I got that set up at a 45, and I've got the blade set with a stopper over here so that I can just put them all in there. Now I've been measuring them, each one after I cut them, to make sure that nothing's vibrated loose. I only have 1 clamp here on the saw holding it in place. It could still vibrate loose, so it's really important for me to make sure the measurements stay spot on. So I basically load that in like that, butt it up against that plate, tension it down, and then start chopping. I'm not going to cut this right now just because it's loud, and I'm going to try to shorten this video up. So I'll talk to you guys in a second once I get all the pieces cut and I get ready to start drilling the 18-inch pieces so I can show you what I'm doing there. So see you guys in a second. Okay everyone, I've got all my pieces cut. You can see here they're all cut at 45s. This set up here is 20 inches long, and these 3 sets over here are 18 inches long. I want you guys to check my videos if you haven't been following my channel. I've got a helpful tip. It's called Chop Saw Tips. It's a video that I released before this one. I'll put the link down in the description. It talks about trying to get a perfectly square cut when you're cutting 45-degree angles with an abrasive disc chop saw. Okay, the thing that, and also getting, you know, when you're cutting multiple pieces to get equal lengths every time to speed up the process. When you're cutting with an abrasive disc chop saw, the blade flexes when you cut angles. So when you're cutting a 45-degree angle, your cut may be tapered off, you know, one way. It could be a whole quarter of an inch, you know, an 1/8 inch to a quarter of an inch, depending on how much your blade is flexing. So check out that video. There's some helpful information there for you guys. But for now, this is what I've got going on. I'm getting ready to head over to the drill press. This set right here will not have any holes drilled into it. These 3 sets right here are going to have holes drilled in from the inside corner 3 inches. Okay? This set here will have holes drilled 1 inch or 2 inches, excuse me. Okay? When I do these, the initial hole is going to be 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to come back on the inside edge of the square. Okay, so it'll be the shorter end of the taper, and I'm going to widen that hole up to a 1/2 inch. The reason why I'm doing that is because the customer is going to use screws or bolts or something to attach this to a piece of wood. Because this is rectangle and only 16 gauge, it will distort the metal because it's pressing down right in the center. Okay, this is real strong, stout stuff until you start pressing down in the center of it, and then it'll cause it to flex and bend. So to try to avoid that, we're not going to screw it directly all the way through both sides. We'll drill this hole out to a 1/2 inch so the screw can drop through and only pinch down on this side, which will keep it from distorting, and then he'll put a little plastic plug or something to plug up that hole. So anyway, I'll show you guys more of what I mean after I get these things drilled out, and I'll drop a screw in there so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So sit tight, I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I got all the holes drilled. As you can see here, 1/2 inch hole with the 1/4 inch hole in the center. Okay, now I wanted to show you what I was talking about. Let's just assume that this screw is what he'll be using. Okay, normally if I put this through here and the hole's the same size, it'll pinch this. Okay, but with the bigger hole at the top, now it drops all the way through. You can plug the cap here, or put a cap plug right there, whatever you want to call those things. After you tighten it down, then you only have to deal with it squeezing one side of the tube, and it doesn't, you won't have to worry about it distorting the tubing. So that's why we're doing that. I'm not going to worry about that because I need 2 hands. Anyway, I'm getting ready to set these up 90-degree angles. My table's perfect 90-degree angle corners, so I'm going to use that as a guide, clamp them down, and then I'm going to TIG weld. I'm going to be using my Everlast PowerTIG 210 EXT. So yeah, should be pretty simple. So as soon as I get all the, like I said, I'm going to be welding here, down this side, and across the other side, not this inside seam. Okay, so as soon as I get all the outside edges welded up, then I'll come back through with the flap disc on the angle grinder and clean off all the welds so that they look nice and clean, just like that, and ready for the customer to paint them. So that's what we have going on right now. I'll be back once I get everything welded up and done, basically. So talk to you guys in a second. Hey everyone, so I'm all done with this project. I wanted to mention something. This is I haven't used my Everlast PowerTIG 210 EXT all that much. But today is the first day that I actually decided to try out the pulse function on here. I can't believe I waited so long. So if you guys are up in the air about getting a TIG welder with pulse, whether you need it or not, you don't need it. But let me tell you what, welding up this metal over here, it was like a night and day difference between running it without pulse and running it with pulse. The cleanup, it was, you know, when you're welding this, it tends to, because it's 16 gauge, it tends to distort the metal a little bit and sink down the corners. So with the pulse function, it didn't do that. It made the cleanup real easy, real fast. Just very satisfied with it. So anyway, here we go. We got all 6 pieces here. The bottom 2 don't have holes drilled in the bottom because those are the bottom. There's no shelf or anything attached to them. The other ones all have shelves. So that's it. Simple project. Took a little bit longer than I was hoping for, but that's also because I was TIG welding it, and you know, quite frankly, you know, it's a slower process for me because I'm still fairly new at it. But everything seems to be, as far as the sizes are concerned and the tolerances, I'm within a 1/16 of an inch all the way around between the pieces. So hopefully the customer will be satisfied with that. When I spoke with him about this project, I told him that I was going to need that much tolerance because, you know, I'm not a machine shop. You know, to make squares like this precision, this is not the easiest thing in the world to do. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Like always, subscribe, comment, like. Check out alvarezmetalworks.com. Go like me on Facebook. The link will be in the description. Follow me on Twitter. You know, the typical routine stuff. And I'm going to put a link to an Amazon link to my Everlast PowerTIG 210EXT, where you can buy that on Amazon. If you guys choose to buy it on Amazon, it really helps me out if you're interested in buying this machine. I'm also going to put a link to the chop saw. I think I told you that earlier in the video, my Porter cable chop saw. So you can find that on Amazon. It's a really good deal. The cheapest chop saw that I could find that wasn't just junk. So check those links out. If you click on those links and you buy anything within 24 hours, it helps me out. So help me out. Anyways, talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.